Round 3 of the Matrix Fitness Grand Prix saw the field set off in the sunshine to tackle the punishing Stoke-on-Trent circuit.
Whoa! Well, maybe unfamiliarity perhaps, but, well, a few shakes of the head as well.
Early on, the race held together, and it was defending champion Nikki Juniper who was first to break cover in Sprint 1.
Well, she was almost unchallenged for that sprint.
And the difficult course took its toll on the riders.
Another testy moment, and it's it's found out another.
Meanwhile, come time for Sprint 2, a group of 8 had managed to maintain a gap of about 30 seconds. Nikki Juniper, yet again, was hungry for the points. With 2 laps to go, the 8-rider breakaway was still together, but not for long.
Front of the race here, coming round this 90-degree corner. A lap and a half to go this time.
Rose picks it. Oh, no! My goodness.
With the leading group now down to 6, Podium Ambitions' Claire Rose pounced. An emphatic victory by Podium Ambitions' Claire Rose helped set up the whole team on the night, but Drop Cycling still remain on top after a strong start to the season. So, Stoke, not great for Annesley or Team Breeze. I've got another member of the Team Breeze squad, Hayley Jones, with me right now. You're hoping for today to be a completely different affair.
Yeah, hopefully. We got 5th in Stoke, which was not good after Annesley crashed. We were a little bit disappointed with that, so hopefully we can come back today. We don't have her on the team, and she was leading the series going into Stoke, but hopefully today we can bring it back and get top team again.
OK, so no Annesley, but some great form. Last time I saw you in action was Redditch, and that was a spectacular result. You smashed it.
Yeah, it was really good for the team in Redditch. We got first team with Annesley taking the win, which was good. She rode away from the whole field on her own, and then I came in 5th. Meg came in the bunch, which meant that we got top team on the night, just beating Drops by a couple of points.
Yeah, so you've got that large hill in Redditch, but it couldn't be more different to today. So how's that going to affect your team tactics?
Definitely will affect it today differently. It's very flat. I enjoyed Redditch. It was quite hard with the hill, didn't suit me as much, and I'm hoping today's going to suit me with the pan flat and the rest of the team, as we are essentially a team of track riders here today.
So do you train for that? I mean, you're of Welsh descent, as I understand it. You then moved to Australia, where you've done a lot of your training, I understand. Do you train for the flat? Is it something you focus on?
Not necessarily. I do everything, but I am essentially better on the flat. I do find that than the hillier races, as I'm not a climber. I'm quite powerful rider, I'd say.
So for you personally, how are you going to make sure that you put your strengths into action here?
Basically, the best trick in all the Tour series is just to stay at the front. So I'm just going to try and do that the whole race. Keep up the front, the rest of the team, keep us all up the front together, and then hopefully we'll be there at the finish.
So I get that you want to stay at the front, I understand that, but how do you make that happen?
You just got to fight the people off the wheels at the start. If you get there, when the race settles in, usually you stay there. Well, that's what I've found so far, and I've done all the Tour series so far.
Well, Hayley, good luck with that. Right now, let's take a closer look at the Stevenage circuit. The 1 kilometre clockwise Stevenage circuit is set to be one of the fastest rounds on this year's Tour Series calendar. With 2 long and fast straights, riders will be able to build up a healthy head of steam. For some, staying in touch with the peloton may be an issue on the run into the finish. The modern town square has many interesting examples of post-war architecture and is now designated a conservation area. The Stevenage Museum, near the centre of Newtown, illustrates the fascinating history of the town.
Fantastically excited to welcome Pearl Izumi Tour here. It's great because Stevenage is a town that's always embraced cycling. We've got this fantastic 45-kilometre network of cycleways around the town, and it meets all our agendas in terms of the environmentally friendly transport, but also getting people out there, getting them fit, but getting them to enjoy their sport.
I can't tell you how exciting it is here, just behind the start line of the women's race, ready for a fast, flat-out fight. Let the mechanical mayhem begin.
Thanks, Jason. We roll out Stevenage, our first visit to what I'm sure will become a regular venue as part of this magnificent series. And indeed, it's round 4 for the Matrix Fitness Grand Prix. And here we go. It's fast. It's going to be potentially furious as well. And a difficult one to master, I think, despite the fact it's not too technical, Tony.
Not very technical, Carlton, really, although the course overview shows 4 corners, it's really over 3, but only 3, because the corner at the bottom of the circuit, 2 right-handers kind of mould into one. You can't get any power down in between the 2.
One thing is for certain, it is a high-speed circuit. It's only a kilometre in length, a few corners, as Tony has said, and it's really going to tempt out some action. They'll gather them all back up just ahead of the start. Well, once the bike has gone, Tony, I'm expecting fireworks here.
Yes, this race is going to erupt. The tactics will probably be to put the pace down early on and string everybody out, and then just ease back later on once they've lost the riders that aren't really up to the task.
Well, it's unlikely to be an individual effort. It is all, of course, all about the team performance. And for the women's race, 3 have to come home. It's your 3rd rider home that will give you a points tally, and away we go. Well, already strung out, Tony, down the back straight. Church Lane is a tough one. Through the corners as well. Big pinch points, I think you can see, a narrowing. Oh, my life. Well, I'm not sure whether there's any fluid on the surface. It looks nice and clean, but she's stayed safe, and good to see she's back up.
No, Carlton, no fluid there. That's a front tyre blowout for the rider from Team Breeze 142. You can quite clearly see there, not only is the tyre blown out, it's blown off the rim. So looked to me like an aluminium rim with an inner tube, so probably a pinched inner tube there.
Well, that was Hayley Jones on the deck. She's been a top 10 finisher on the first 3 occasions, so that's a bit of a wound for her own team. And we're coming straight to our sprint lap here. We will go around once. It's going to be dealt with very, very tightly, as you can see. This is how we stand at the moment. After 3 events so far, Annesley Park leads on 24 points ahead of Nikki Juniper and Alice Barnes.
Nikki Juniper, centre of your picture there. Don't be fooled, she's not wearing the National Champions jersey, she's wearing the Sprint Leaders jersey, as Annesley Park hasn't taken the start tonight, probably because of the aches and pains from her crash in Stoke-on-Trent.
On board with Garner, wonderful onboard shots gracing this entire Metrics Fitness Grand Prix series, and we're heading back towards the start-finish line for our first sprint. They're all looking at each other at the moment, just getting very, very cagey. Bit of cat and mousing amongst the elite up front.
Yeah, so just stalling at the front here. You can see Juniper just going to the right of that generator that's going to be used later on for the men's race, and the rider's not quite lit up for this sprint yet. We've only got about 300 metres to go.
Yes, it's a short course, a short, sharp shock for some. We've already seen a couple of riders deck. Let's hope they stay safe through this. They do. They get a clear view now as they run for home. Haven't quite picked it up just yet, but they do so. Nikki Juniper lights it, and she goes for it. Barriers claiming victims potentially tonight, and she gets even more pace, but Lydia Boylan as well, looking nice and handy for Team WNT. Win it? Is she going to? She does just, but that was close. A photo for the first sprint of the night. No doubt that Rebecca Durrell from Drop Cycling was in 3rd place there. Here's confirmation. Boylan, Juniper, Durrell, Hayward, Barnes is how they finished the 5 on the opening sprint tonight.
So a great sprint there for the first one in Stevenage, and we will see if anyone tries to launch an attack now as everyone's just gathering their breath.
Welcome back. Well, as we approach the second sprint lap, we have a lone breaker, and what a performance by Alice Barnes. She's on startling form at the moment, and she's showing that to us right now, Tony.
The whole of this Drops team riding fantastically well throughout this season. She's taken the klaxon for the sprint next time round and got a good 8 or 10 second lead on board there with Hannah Walker.
Well, nearest to our leader Alice Barnes at the moment is Grace Garner, and as you can see as well, an awful lot of riders on this short course are going to be tagged, essentially lapped, and we look further back. There's Nikki Juniper in the green and white jersey as well, closing the gap on Grace Garner, or at least attempting to. I think the others behind Juniper possibly leaning on her at the moment, knowing that she has to chase on.
Well, her tactics in the sprint are generally to lead out. She likes leading from the front, and this is what she's doing. We need to clip back now to the finish straight so we can see the result of this sprint. It's vital at this stage.
Well, look at the gap that's being posed here by Alice Barnes. She went well the other night, and as we'll have a nocturne for the men a little bit later on, it's in broad sunshine, and I don't know, a sunspot lighting up what is a phenomenal performance. There she is, clips across the line, doesn't even take a moment to look behind her. She's just concerned about ahead and what she's got to deal with, which frankly is plenty of loose riders. Juniper's picking this one up as well. She doesn't want to lose too many points at a moment such as this, and everyone else was right to stick with her wheels, and there she is, just crossing the line in the background. She makes that count for 4 points ahead of Gabriella Shaw. We'll get confirmation of how that result panned out, but no doubt about the winner of that second sprint. Alice Barnes takes it, 5 points for her. Juniper Shaw, Crumpton, and of course Neith Evans. Well, what does that mean on the night? It spins out like this here in Stevenage. Nikki Juniper with 8 points, Alice Barnes on 6, Lydia Boylan on 5, Durrell 3, and Gabriella Shaw has been lively on 3 as well. But after 4 rounds, it looks like this, and Nikki Juniper takes ownership of the green and white sprints jersey on 27 points. That's 3 clear now of Park.
And here we go, your lone leader heading down this finish straight. Need to get a time check on her, but a great ride here from the Drop cycling team.
Well, it's hard to pose gaps, to be honest, because there's riders all over this short course. 1 kilometre with 2 laps to go, so 2K from home, I guess you might say. It's essentially the Flamme Rouge in her own mind next time by, and there's a lot of loose riders here who potentially have been lapped more than once by this powerhouse Alice Barnes.
Great ride, Alice Barnes pushing on. We haven't yet seen the bunch, but I think by virtue of the fact that the motorbike's in there, it's a hefty lead at this stage, and she appears at this point to have this one all wrapped up.
Big question is, where are her teammates? This is a team competition, and you look further back, you'll see pretty similar jerseys here. The Drops cycling team are in dominant form. Will they continue it? Well, we're going to find out in just a lap or so's time.
So the Drops team not in their standard black jerseys. They are wearing the white and red leaders jerseys of the Matrix Fitness Tour Series.
Well, it looks like this group has swelled, but it hasn't actually. It's the group of chasers coming by another group of lapped riders at the moment. I guess on a tight circuit it's hard to pick out, maybe hard to strategize team-wise, and they're looking over their shoulders. Grace Garner's teammates as well just want to know what Podium Ambitions plans are right now. Well, it's a question, I think, of putting out fires, and on fire is Alice Barnes. She's going to wrap this up easily.
Coming through this time to take the bell with just over a kilometre to go, Alice Barnes from the Drops racing team coming down this packed start-finish straight in Stevenage. The crowds are absolutely massive, enjoying the sun tonight.
Well, 2 Sun Velo riders actually wondering what that was that went by. Well, I can tell you it's an express train, and Alex Barnes has got just the 1 carriage at the moment. What about her teammates, though? They need to pick something up. It's not just an individual event, this.
No, it's a team classification. 3 riders over the line each time for the women, 4 for the men, who we'll see shortly. Riding down this back straight, she's now more than half a lap up, so in effect she's chasing the rest of the bunch down.
My life, this is a superb performance. She's been doing it again and again in London and then here in Stevenage, and just look at well, almost an easement of hostilities while everyone else kind of gathers themselves for the last burst. Alice Barnes has gone all in with her efforts early on. She's going to carry that advantage, and then all of a sudden the alarm bells are going off back here. It's certainly getting very, very lively. This is the race essentially for second place, but also, of course, for the team competition. Barnes takes another one of these turns, a lazy one almost. It's kind of an extended hairpin, and she's on the start-finish straight now. So she's heading for glory, and we'll look further down the line to see who is going to join her up here. Well, her teammates seem motivated, but there's plenty of company as well. Matrix Fitness have got options. So have Team Breeze, Team WNT as well. Here's our winner on the night, no doubt about it. Barnes takes it, and then we'll see what an enormous gap it is back to the pack.
Well, she free-wheeled for the last 50 metres of that home straight. She didn't need to push on at all. She really could enjoy that, but we really need to see this sprint behind now. It's vital.
Here we go then. They've got that big lazy corner. I think Alice Barnes has probably already sat down with a cup of tea and maybe an ice cream. She deserves everything. Now then, 2 teammates to the fore. Are they going to do a blocking tactic? Let's have a look. They're going to burst out of this, but who can catch them? Here we are, looking behind. Nikki Juniper looks motivated in the green and white jersey. She's on the left-hand side of your picture, right-hand side of the road, gets balked ever so slightly. Oh, some others getting very, very interested here. Drops, though, look dominant. Oh, it's going to be a 1-2-3 for them. They punch the air. Well, my goodness, Alice Barnes will be here to greet them. And what an effort that was. Drops, dominant.
Fantastic sprint there. They led out going into that last series of corners and held on all the way to the line, and a repeat of their result in the Lincoln Women's Grand Prix, first, second and third for the drop cycling team.
Well, Alice Barnes hasn't quite got the cup of tea yet, but what a phenomenal effort that was. Drops in charge, individually and as a team here in Stevenage. That was class.
Absolutely fantastic. Rolls into the pits there, waiting to be congratulated by the team manager. And the drops team, sponsored by Trek and Prendus, are having an absolutely fantastic year.
Well, not only that, they've had a fantastic week. They just can't stop winning, it seems. They've done it again. Alice Barnes just can't stop winning, it seems. She's been on stellar form, and that goes on. And what a night from Drops Cycling. The dominance here writ large. 1, 2, 3 for them. A podium lockout sees Drops Cycling, of course, take the day ahead of Team Ford EcoBoost and Podium Ambition. And so Drops extend their lead overall to 53 points ahead of Podium Ambition and Team Ford EcoBoost.
Alice, was that as exciting for you as it was for me watching?
Yeah, it's quite exciting going on an attack, and then it does wear off a bit once you get a lot more tired, but it was really good to see the back of the bunch, and I knew I had quite a big gap, and yeah, that made me speed up a lot more as well.
I want to just get inside the mind of a true champ and ask you what tells you when to go. It was just before the second sprint, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a couple of riders away, so I went to bridge the gap, and I had a fair bit more speed than them, so I went past and then just waited to see if anyone was going to come with me, and I kept the pressure on, and I seemed to get quite a big gap in the end, so yeah.
But it's great when you pull it off, but it's risky. It's a risky strategy.
Yeah, I went fairly early in the race, so if it didn't succeed, then I would have had time to recover again. And I didn't go full gas from the start, just in case there was riders going to come across to me, and they didn't hit me when I was quite tired, so yeah.
A 1, 2, 3 for Drops. Does it get any better than that?
No, obviously, with it being a team event and the first 3 riders count, obviously the 1, 2, 3, you get the best points you can, so that's a really good buffer for us going into the final 2 rounds.
So the phrase my 11-year-old daughter would use, who's also a keen cyclist, is ownage. You're right at the top. You own this right now. What's your plan moving forward?
So we've got the next 2 rounds, Croydon and Portsmouth this week, so hopefully we'll keep the jerseys and have some more good individual results as well.
Well, it was spectacular. I really enjoyed it. Outstanding. You nailed it. You smashed it. It couldn't have been any better. But yet it carries on. Don't move, all right? Maybe pop out to the kitchen, pop on the kettle, then get back, sit down, because the men are up after the ads.